All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon to celebrate the class of 2024 radiography graduates. We are going to start off just by thanking you all for coming. You all have a program. If you need a program, there are still some on the back. We have some great speakers today. Thank you for coming from our clinical affiliates, where much of the time these guys are at is for their education. I'd like to first start off by thanking all the administrative staff here that supports the program. Moira Lafayette, Dr. Pierner, Jen Glissendorf, who is in our health sciences, that helps out tremendously with so much of the things that we have to get done for our affiliates and paperwork. So welcome, and we'll get started here. I'm Allie. Sorry to introduce myself. These guys know who I am. I am the program director for the radiography program, and we are going to start off with our first speaker, Lynn Holt, who is one of our clinical preceptors at Mercy Health Systems. Lynn was from the class of 2019, and she is very helpful with our students at their internships over at Mercy. So come on up, Lynn.
Thanks, Allie. Hi, ladies. You all look beautiful over there today. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to be here today to celebrate this very important milestone with some pretty incredible students. I work at Mercy Health in Janesville as a radiologic technologist, and I'm also a clinical preceptor for the BTC students. And I've had the pleasure of working with 11 of the 13 students here today, so I know pretty much all of you. To say I'm proud of you is an understatement. What you've achieved over the past 2 years is significant. I'm also a graduate of the BTC radiography program, and I recall very well the rigor and difficulty of the curriculum and the clinical rotations. And to put things into perspective for family and friends present, each of these students completed not only all of the required classroom courses, but spent well over 1,500 hours in clinicals at local hospitals and clinics, performing all of the radiographic procedures they learned in school on actual patients in real-life situations. They were also required to master 107 competencies in the areas of surgery, fluoroscopy, and diagnostic radiography, inclusive of bedside portable and trauma procedures, and pediatric and geriatric radiography. To ensure the students gain the most experience and exposure possible, the clinical portion requires 3 rotations at the different area healthcare organizations, each of which has multiple sites where the students essentially work for free and learn how to operate all of the X-ray equipment, memorize exam protocols, and navigate radiology information system programs. I'm certain by the time they started to feel like they had everything down, it was time to move on to the next rotation and start the process over again. Additionally, many had jobs and families to care for, making the past 2 years a substantial sacrifice. One of the most rewarding parts of my job is being the clinical preceptor and working with the students. As I look back over the past 2 years with these students, I remember so many things, like how overwhelmed and quiet you were as first-year students trying to absorb everything, and watching how nervous you were performing your very first exam on a real patient, the chest X-ray. You were so slow and methodical, making sure everything was perfect, and now you can do that exam in your sleep. You learning how to drive the portable machines and maybe hitting a wall or two, or the elevator doors. Everybody does that, though. The look of excitement when you mastered and passed your first competency. The look of disappointment and going over constructive feedback when you weren't successful in obtaining a competency. Watching you come out of your shell as you interacted with patients. Watching you grow and develop in your technical positioning skills, and seeing the light bulb go on as you used your critical thinking skills to get great images on a really difficult patient in a trauma situation or a surgical procedure. Seeing your confidence take over as you took the lead in exams and worked independently. Watching you show compassion, kindness, and empathy to a patient in pain as if they were a member of your family. The excitement of reviewing and discussing images of a really crazy fracture or a trauma situation while simultaneously showing sympathy for the patient involved. Obtaining that last competency requirement that you needed to have. Working those fun PM shifts together when there wasn't as many staff around and you relaxed a bit and you let your fun personalities show. And learning about your lives and families outside of the clinical setting and seeing what amazing individuals you all really are. Being your clinical preceptor has helped me grow a lot as a person. I'd like to think I'm a lot nicer, a lot more patient, a lot more understanding. I hope you all agree. I can only hope that you've learned as much from me as I have learned from each one of you, and that I have positively impacted your lives as much as you have impacted mine. I will truly miss each of you that I've been blessed to work with. I'd like to end with a few bits of advice, some things that I like to practice, and I hope that you may find useful also. First is always keep improving, whether it be in school, your work, or just becoming a better person in life. Always, always keep improving. As it relates to radiography, graduating from the program and passing your boards isn't the end of the journey, it's just the beginning. You're armed with the building blocks, now it's time to add to them. I hate to break it to you, but you don't know everything about radiography. You'll be surprised at how much you learn and grow your skills in the next year alone as a new rad tech. I encourage you to focus on adding to your arsenal, as I like to call it, by always watching and listening and paying attention to your coworkers. I've taken so many tips and tricks that are tried and true from others to make me better, because there's no way we can experience everything ourselves, and why would you want to? Take advantage of those that have the knowledge and the experience around you. It is truly helpful. Don't forget where you came from is number 2. Many of you are going to be joining organizations that have students performing their clinical rotations. And I'd like you to remember how it felt when you were the new person starting at a clinical site, how overwhelming and scary it felt. I sure do remember that. Please don't be the tech that comes out of school and is mean to the students. Students come to us to learn. They don't know everything, and they will make mistakes. How you work through those mistakes with them says a lot about you. Praise in public and correct in private, you can still maintain high standards for performance while treating people with respect and dignity, and always remember they are people first. And hopefully you always felt that with me. Be a person that everyone likes to work with is number 3. You will quickly find that the key to happiness at work is the team that you work with. Be a great team member. Work hard, be positive, do what you say you're going to do, and don't leave your coworkers hanging. I have found that even during the hardest shifts at work, who I have by my side working with me makes all of the difference in how I feel about the day. Number 4 is end each day knowing that your patients receive the best treatment possible. Our patients are the reason that we have a job, and we can do so much to make their day better, just by how we interact with and treat them. There are days that it can be really hard. Patients are angry or difficult because they don't want to be there. They can be confused or they're in pain. Always focus on the positive with them, even if they don't return that to you. I find it makes all the difference for me. And I always like to think about how I would want my family members to be treated. Number 5, the last one, is make and take time for self-care. It's important. You're going to have some really difficult days working in healthcare, days when you'll be physically and emotionally exhausted. You will see death and other tragic situations that you simply cannot believe. I know I've shed tears after a few situations at work, and there were days when I was so happy when my shift was over and I could leave. But I have things outside of work that bring me joy, and that helps a lot. Those tough days at work make me appreciate the easier shifts I'll get so much more. And I really hate to speak and dash, but I am scheduled to work this afternoon, so I have to go to work. But with that, I want to wish you all the very best that life has to offer and so much success in your new careers. The profession is very lucky to have each and every one of you. God bless.
Thank you, Lynn. Now, we are going to have Joe Ibsen, the former program director of the radiography program. He was the program director for the class of 2024 from 2022 to 2023.
Well, they say when you start learning to speak in public that a very good trick, if you're new to public speaking, is to sometimes start out your speech with an inspirational quote, that has some meaning to the people in the audience and the students. And I've chosen a quote from Michael Corleone, if you're familiar, who said, "Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in." But seriously, it's great to be back. I'm thrilled to be here speaking today. I'm thrilled that you asked. This program means a lot to me. I spent 26 years here with this program, and I know it's in fantastic hands. And I don't worry about it at all, which has probably been the best part about retirement. But to get into what I really want to talk about today is, it might come as a surprise to you sitting here that we can sum up what we do as a profession in 3 really, really simple statements. And they're all sitting there going, "Why did you tell us this 2 years ago?" But really, produce the highest quality images with the least amount of dose to your patient, providing the best care. That's it. That's what we do. But I want to talk about those a little bit, each in turn. Produce the highest quality images. I can't overstate this. Well, you know how I feel about. Okay, I won't say anymore. But it's important to remember that it all starts with us. A lot of people that work at least in healthcare provide treatment and therapy, right? We do diagnosis. Nobody gets treated or therapy until they have a diagnosis, and no one gets diagnosed without you guys. Never, ever, ever, ever forget that. And the quality of that diagnosis is never any better than the quality of your images. I'm sorry, I'm talking to them. I will remember that you're out there as well, I promise. But I'm sure you know by this point how imperative producing quality images is. And, I'm sure every one of you by this point has wanted to repeat an image that somebody told you, "No, that's good enough." Don't ever let those words come out of your mouth. What would you think if the guy working on the brakes of your car said that and you heard him? That's good enough. So, yeah. Secondly, produce those images with the lowest radiation dose to the patient possible. This is probably harder now than it's been in the entire time I worked in this profession, because the digital imaging systems that you guys use, this, can produce a pretty good image regardless of how much you've overexposed your patient. And you never really know, unless you really learn to dig deep, how much dose you're actually giving your patient. And we need to remember, our job is exposing patients to a known carcinogen. Okay, and it's frustrating to see how easy it is to not pay attention to it and not realize that. So enough about that. And finally, providing the best level of care. This is maybe the most important element of this, because most of your patients will never see your images. They might. But even if they see them, they don't know if they're good or bad. What they will know is how they were treated. And they'll always know how they were treated. So, it's, don't refer to your patient as the ankle, right? I'm gonna go get the ankle. Well, bring the rest of them along if you think that's a good idea. Because again, they are almost certainly having a worse day than you are, no matter how bad a day you're having. So take good care of your patients and always let them go away thinking that they had a positive experience on a very horrible day. Okay? So, enough preaching. What's the line, Maddie? Jump off my soapbox? No. Where are you? So anyway, again, thank you so much for having me. I gave this profession over 40 years of my life. I love it as much today as I did when I started. It's a profession that you can be proud of being part of. It's one thing I always like to say at this. The nice thing about this, it's a new group of people every year, and I can say the same things every year, and only a handful of people realize that. You don't go into healthcare to get rich, right? You don't become a radiographer because you like your weekends off and your holidays off, right? You don't go into imaging because, well, I'll be done at 4 o'clock every day, right? Okay. They were just talking about this at lunch. I think I worked as a tech 7 years before I didn't have to work part of Christmas, whether it be Christmas Eve, Christmas Day night, whatever. And then most of my working career, I worked third shift. So I'd, go home at 8 o'clock in the morning and go to bed. But the cool thing is, there are people at way better hours than us. There are people that make a lot more money than us. All of that stuff. But if it hasn't happened for you yet, it will happen. And I remember it like it was yesterday. The first day you go home at 8 o'clock in the morning, open a beer. That's nights for you. And sit there and come to the realization, I did something last night and somebody's alive today, at least in part, because of what I did. And that has got to be the coolest feeling in the world. And if it hasn't happened yet, it will. And you'll love it and enjoy it. So, to wrap up, I've been retired for almost a year now. So you hopefully have not heard any of these ladies complain about me in a year. But anyway, I've been retired for a year now, and I haven't found too many things about it I don't like so far. And I don't have many regrets. But when I do have regrets, sometimes I think I'd like to have been here with you this second year, but I didn't. But I miss you. I missed the second. I really missed you guys for the second year, and I want to thank you for at least the time I had you in the classroom. What exceptional, studious, hardworking, serious students you are, and I have no doubt in my mind that you will be a true asset to this profession. I miss you. Get out there, do well, and do good. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Now we are going to have Kaylin and Liz from the class of 2024 who've been asked to speak by their class. Come on up.
everybody. My name's Liz. This is Kaylin. All right, we'll start the speech now. Okay. On Wednesday, April 13th, 2022 at 3:30 p.m., we gathered in classroom 1220 where we met for the first time. I remember the nervous faces, the shaky voices like I have right now, and our excitement for our future filling the room. Stepping into the classroom for the first time, I thought, okay, now this is going to be a long 2 years. But now, as I stand here and looking out at the crowd, brimming with people who have loved, cared for, and supported us throughout the last 2 years, I realize just how quickly this moment has come. So thank you for joining us today for this amazing accomplishment the class of 2024 has made. I remember that April 13th like the back of my hand. Scared, lost, and sick. Like I was actually sick. And I came in because there was no way I was gonna miss this. So apologies, but it seems you all have survived. Everyone was not only super intimidatingly pretty or looked like a well, you know what I was gonna say. I can honestly say now, everyone is great, and I have loved the past 2 years getting to know these women. A question we were asked as a class was why we decided on this program. A lot of us said we wanted to do sonography, but ended up getting into this instead. One story I'll never forget, Lynn, shared with us the story of her father who was hospitalized with COVID. During that time, he received multiple x-rays, which gave them a glimpse of hope with each image. That started her interest in the field of radiology. I thought it was so personal. She knew exactly what she wanted to do. She wanted to help the same way healthcare helped her father. Once she said that, I started to thinking of my own connection. When I was a very young girl, my dad had a quadruple bypass, and I remember how scary that was for me and more than definitely for him. When you are a patient in need of care, you are putting your trust into everyone else for help in times you need it most. That they will do everything they can for you because you are somebody to someone. As a healthcare worker, a means of connection gives you a bigger reason and responsibility to care. One thing I'll do now, and I'm promising myself forever, and I think this goes for all of us, is thinking this is not just about a job. This is about care for someone who is loved, someone who is coming to you for help and wants to go home at the end of it all. If or when you ever need help, we will be the ones treating you as if you are someone who is loved. Now, and we know just how important it is to acknowledge and celebrate that responsibility. Now, I want my classmates to take a good look around, look at each other. No matter what path we've taken, somehow we've ended up here. I mean, some of us went to college and got degrees prior to this. Some are mothers or expecting to become mothers. Not me, I'm not talking about me. Got married, got engaged, got divorced, bought a house, or maybe put life on hold just for the sheer intensity of this program. One thing I want to emphasize and share with everyone today is there is no right or wrong path. You are never too early or too late. You are your own future. We made it to today, and God willing, we'll make it to tomorrow. Celebrate and cherish that. Aww. It's not over. We still have, that was about halfway through our speech. So next part, I would like to say it's a great honor to be up on the stage with K-Dog to speak and represent our class today. I would just like to say that I'm profoundly grateful to have worked with such intelligent and hardworking women. So thanks, guys. They have been my besties for the resties. Love you long time, hearts. Together we have celebrated some of life's major accomplishments and milestones. Also, too, we have been there for each other when the intense amount of stress takes over or during the loss of a loved one. And no matter what, we will always be there to support each other. So we have become a family, and, honestly, these past 2 years have been my favorite. I sound like I'm crying, but I'm just nervous. It was also very stressful 2 years, but I wouldn't change a thing about it. Looking back to when I entered college, I was very nervous and wasn't sure if this career was going to be the right fit for me, but now that we're here, I know, I am certain that I belong in this totally rad field with all these totally rad people doing all of this totally rad work. So, thanks, guys. just think about all the work, time, and energy that we have put into this. We have devoted 100% of ourselves to this career because we have such an intense passion for radiography and that degree. These guys really have made my time spent here memorable, whether we're slinging dogs at Lambeau Field, getting yelled at for the freaking walnuts at Beckman Mill, or talking about patients shoving you never even know what, you know where, and or even,
Hey, I'm looking for my daughter.
the Kalahari. Yeah. Emotions are scattered about today as we embark on our journeys. Kaylin said something to me as we sat down to write this speech that has really stuck with me. She said, "You can feel a million different ways, but in the end, you'll still come out as $1,000,000, and no truer words have ever been spoken." This program, my 12 classmates, the 5 we lost along the way, my professors, all the techs that I've had the privilege to work alongside, and my encouraging family have helped guide me to this point. I would not be standing here today without you. I am so incredibly appreciative for all the opportunities that you've given me. Hold on one second. Okay. Every day we're presented with the chance to change someone's life for the better. And we try to create happiness for somebody because we see them at their worst, whether that be with a big smile or an infectious laugh. And with that being said, I would also like to say thank you to someone incredibly special to me, someone very near and dear to my heart who unfortunately couldn't be here today. My dog. You know, she's the best. She's great. She's really helped me through all the rough times. But I guess I should also thank my family too. So special thanks to my parents, Andrea and Eric Newen, for working so incredibly hard to guarantee an excellent education for my sister and I. Mom, you're my best friend. You're my rock. You are the person I tell every single little detail of my life to. And Dad, thank you for teaching me that you can be serious and still crack a little joke every now and then. Thanks, guys. Hold on, I need a breath. I need another breath. Okay, so I want to also say thank you to my sister, Emily, who couldn't be here today because it's her last day of high school forever, and like me, she never misses a day of school. So thank you for being the person that I can lean on and just being one of my persons. I'm so glad that I could grow up with a little friend like you. I'm excited to see you experience how much better college is than high school, because we all know it is. Thank you to those who have helped me write my essays and plan my future after college, several times, and apply for those careers. Thank you to all other friends and family who have come here today to celebrate my proudest accomplishment, as you fill my life with love, laughs, and happiness. I cannot express in words how grateful I am for each of you, but I hope this comes close. Now, enough about me. This is our day. Still not over.
Now it's actually about me. Before we conclude, I will selfishly and unapologetically use this opportunity to say my own special thank yous to the people who have made me exactly who I am today. To all the techs and instructors who spend their days helping the future, truthfully, hats off to you. To the ladies, as Lizzie Busy said, honestly, best friends. I would not have wanted to experience this with anyone else. I wish you all the success and happiness in the future, and without a doubt, I know you will all achieve great things beyond today. To my boyfriend Patrick and his family for their constant and consistent ear to all my complaints and excitement. My siblings, Carrie and Clayton, who really gave me a reason to work so hard and prove myself as number one. But honestly, I love you both so much, and I wouldn't want a life where you guys weren't my siblings. To my mom, Christine, who has provided me the perfect example of what kindness and honesty can do for a person. To my dad, Dwight, who has given me every opportunity and taught me exactly what it means to work so hard. My friends and family, who I want to individually thank, but I don't want to take too much time away from everybody. With the support system I have, we would genuinely be here all day. Just know I cannot thank you all enough. I truthfully can say I love what I do, and I hope that in itself fills you with pride, as you are all a part of me in some way. I have only ever wanted to make you all so proud. I hope me standing up here today meets and exceeds all your expectations, and I've accomplished exactly what you've hoped to see me achieve. All right, and of course, thanks to all of you for being a part of our support system. It takes a lot of energy and work to produce all this perfection. Still not done. Still not done.
Got ya.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're still not done. We have this is our last one. Promise. Okay. So there's one last thing that we would like to share with you. A quote from Dr. Seuss. He said, "You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know.
And you are the person who will decide where to go."
So good luck on the rest of your endeavors.
Thank you.
Now
We
to
will
end
end
with
with
an
an
X-ray dance. Just kidding. Just kidding. Unless. Nah. Okay, now we're done. Yay!
Thank you, girls. That was impressive, and even more if you would have been able to dance in those heels. I think we might have been doing X-rays later for ankles. So now, if we could have Maddie Meglick come up from the class of 2023, who is Maddie is anxious to be a clinical preceptor. She's in training now, so she can help. And she's helping out with them now. And then in another year or two, she will be also a preceptor added to the list. Thank you, Maddie.
Of course. I'm going to start. That was so stinking cute. I loved every second of that. Okay. Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here to help us celebrate the graduating class of 2024 and all of their great accomplishments. My name is Maddie Meglick. I'm currently a CI in training and tech at Beloit Memorial Hospital. I am so honored to be here speaking with you today. 1 year ago, I was on this stage accepting my pin from the program. It feels like a lifetime ago, but also like 3 months. I have learned a lot of lessons over this short amount of time, and I'd like to share them with you. Here are my top 3. Number 1, don't forget where you came from. I know all of you remember what it feels like to be a student because it's fresh in your mind, but let me bring you back to junior year again. Being a first year, all you know how to do is clean a room and get in the way. Embarrassingly stumbling through a hard exam you said you knew how to do, and just trying to survive image analysis with Katie as she's sitting there waiting for you to tell her where the carina is. Everything is new and scary, and you don't know what anything means. I hate to break it to you, but that's your first year of being a real tech. But it isn't that bad. You get paid for it, which is nice. And I don't mean to scare you. This isn't bad. I want to remind you that you will never grow in your comfort zone. There will be traumas that scare you and doctors that yell at you. But when you take a picture that literally saves someone's life, that's it. When you meet a sweet old lady who just needs to be heard, understood, and a warm blanket, that's it. That's what we do it for. Don't forget what brought you here today, to help people like someone has helped you or a loved one. I hope you see that reason in every single patient you have, even the mean and nasty ones, because sometimes they're the ones that need it the most. Number 2, this is the beginning of your journey. I want you all to think of how far you've come in the last 2 years. Do you remember your first summer semester when you were so worried about taking the perfect patient history, and now you can do it in your sleep? Or when you were so afraid to check off on C-spine lab, and now you can do it with one eye closed? Not 2, you'll get there. Now I want you to picture yourself 2 years from now. What kind of tech have you created? What are you doing day to day to better yourself? Are you passionate about getting the best images you can? Or are you just on your phone, scrolling away, letting the images pass? As the famous Joseph Ibsen once said, you are the one who gets to choose how good you are at this profession and your life. Will you see a difficult patient and rise to the task, or will you just pass it along to the student and watch them struggle? I'm sure you've been there. Don't let your standards drop to their level. Raise the bar. Believe in your skills. And when in doubt, don't fake it. Ask for help. Learn from these situations and teach others what you have learned. Number 3, and most importantly, enjoy this time. Celebrate and take care of yourself. This is the time you all have worked so hard for. Everything you have done has led up to this moment right now. I know I can speak for the whole crowd when I say we are so proud of you, every single one of you. All of the hard nights and stressful days have not gone unnoticed. After you pass your boards, which I know all of you will, take some time for yourself. If you can, go on a trip or take a week-long nap. Enjoy it while you can, because otherwise you'll have to use PTO, and that can be hard to come by. Also, don't be afraid to go to therapy or have a weekly coffee date with an old classmate to vent about how stupid things are and how much you miss X-ray school. Because you don't now, but you will, I promise. I wish you all good luck on your boards. I have all the faith in the world. Congratulations to the class of 2024.
Thank you, Maddie. And now we have Mike Vingers, who is one of our staff over at SSM Janesville.
Wow, look at all these people. I thought those are some pretty good speeches that really hit home on a lot of that. You guys all did great that came before me. Well, hello and welcome, everyone. It's such an honor to be chosen to speak today. Sitting up here today is a fine collection of some wonderful people, and I'm so proud of everyone. The program is not easy. Each of these graduates for 2 years had to study, go to classes and clinicals, and like someone said before me up here, clinicals is basically like a job that you don't get paid for. You know, it's kind of a bummer, but it'll be worth it. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all the hard work you guys did when you're with me. I really appreciate it. Having the privilege, and that's what it is a privilege to work with the students, is probably my favorite part of my job. And this time of year, it's tough for me because I have to say goodbye, but you know, it'll be all right. And I know you guys are gonna do so good. I'm so proud of all of them. I can't wait to see where they all go and end up, and I hope you keep in touch with me. And also, thank you to you guys for the past 2 years. They couldn't have done this without you. The friends and family supporting them, and the teachers and the CIs. Everyone played a big part in getting them to where they are today. You know, I always get so incredibly nervous when I get asked to speak at these, because this isn't something I normally do, and I'm really out of my comfort zone. And people always go, well, man, you know, why do you do it then? And I guess the best way to explain it is basically for 2 years, I've been doing that exact same thing to you guys, you know, putting you in situations where I know you were nervous and scared, and well, how can I say no, you know? Now it's your turn to watch me be nervous, so I hope you enjoy it. You know, I remember what it was like to be a student. I had some horrible experiences when I was a student. I remember what it was like working with someone who didn't care if I learned or not. I remember the eye rolling. I remember overhearing techs make fun of me, being terrified to ask a question. I remember feeling so small sometimes. But I also remember what it was like working with someone who did care. And I worked with a lot of really good techs that cared when I was a student. And I decided after all that stuff that I went through that I wanted to do my best to try to be a good tech for my students and to try to make them comfortable. Because over the years, I've seen firsthand how much better a job these guys will do if they're comfortable. When they go in to do a comp, you know, there's all this stuff going through their brain, like, how much do I angle, or what views do I need, line up the bucky. The last thing you should have to worry about is the guy behind the thing, you know, comping you. Like, I try to do my best to make sure you're comfortable, because I know you'll do best that way. And you guys all met all kinds of different techs through, you know, while you're at your clinicals, and none of them were perfect. You need to become the best parts of all the techs you worked with. And remember what it's like to be a student. It is so rewarding when one of my students figures something out for the first time or works through a difficult exam. It's truly one of the best feelings I get when I'm at work. And honestly, it's kind of hard because I get such limited time with you guys. Like, so many days I'll come to the hospital and, you know, there's 2 of them at the clinic and like one's in Edgerton, and it's just annoying that I don't get to see you more, I guess. And nothing would make me happier than if I got a student every shift. So, you know, maybe, especially second years, if we could have them at the hospital more, I would appreciate it, Katie and Allie. That would be incredible. This job is different than most jobs. This job is people. You're taking care of people, and everyone has a story, each of these patients. And the thing is, you have no idea what's going on in their mind or their home life. You know that they're not having a good day because they're in the ER. That's obvious, but it's sometimes what you don't know. And maybe their dog died, or they just found out they have cancer, or they're battling depression or some sort of mental illness. And I guess when I see you guys just do these little tiny things, like making sure they can reach their cell phone when you take them back, that they're warm enough, that's when I'm really proud of you. Like, I don't care if you get A's or C's or whatever. I mean, maybe you do and some other people out there, but I don't. I care how you are with your patients. That's when I'm most proud, is when you guys do that stuff. The ones that do a little extra, that's what you need to do. And every day in this job, you'll have opportunities to do something special for a complete stranger, and I hope that you act on them. I wasn't even sure what I wanted to really talk about today, so I kind of did what I always do, and I just opened my eyes and, you know, paid attention at work for like a month. And I get to do it, you know, basically every April. And then I'm ready for this. But it didn't take long. It was just a normal night during the week, and a trauma 2 was called. I was working with a young tech who was just up here, I don't know, probably about 3 years, 4 years ago, something like that, still pretty new. And we went to check in to the trauma, and we saw through the crack in the door was a motorcycle accident. And the guy was like 50% road rash. Like, there wasn't a lot of skin left on him. He was pretty much naked except a gown just laid over his pelvis. And the nurse comes out and she goes, hey, you know, she said to all the other nurses, like, could I get a hand, you know, just cleaning this guy up and pulling all the stuff out of his skin and whatnot. And it was so weird. I don't know if they didn't hear her, or like maybe they're too busy doing something else, or some sort of weird nurse drama, because that's a thing, it happens. And you didn't help me with my patient, I won't help you with yours, you know. I don't know what happened, but no one even acknowledged her. And I was standing behind the tech I was with, and I knew what she was thinking, I could see it, and I was just kind of like, come on, you know, just say it, you know. And then she goes, well, we got hands, you know. And that was just the most beautiful thing to be a part of, like watching her like get out of her comfort zone and say, yeah, I know we didn't do this in lab and x-ray school, but I can figure out how to pull rocks out of a guy's kneecap if I need to, you know. So we went in there and started soaking his hands in saline, and everyone basically grabbed a limb and did it as gently as we could. Sometimes, you know, he couldn't handle it and we had to stop. I mean, honestly, I was on his knee and it felt like I was polishing his patella because there wasn't any skin left. And And I'm like, well, man, I get it. This has got to hurt. I'll slow down, but we got to get this stuff out. So we go to do all the scans we had to do on him, and we grabbed all clean bedding and linens because honestly, what he was in was covered in blood and saline, and so we get him on the table, quick clean the other bed, throw the sheets down, do all the scans. That's fine, and we getting ready to take him back to the room. And the girl I was with goes. She looks around at all the blood all over the place in my dirty room, and I have all these recons to do. I have all this work to do afterwards, and she goes, I'm going to take him back, but do you care if I go help Bella and finish, cleaning his wounds? I'm like, absolutely. Like, that was like the coolest thing. I was so proud of her because normally that's the stuff that I do, but I got to watch someone that I was just like you guys come up with me, and I got to watch her do it. And now that she's done it, I know she'll do it again. It was just, I don't know, a really beautiful thing. And I hope you guys take opportunities like that. So I guess I got a conclusion, but last night, I was sitting thinking about all the wonderful things I'd seen and what I wanted to talk about, and in the middle of all of that, there was two things that were, well, they're quite awful and horrible, and I want to talk about what happened. And the first situation, I saw somebody lose their patience, their composure. I don't know what you'd actually call it, but it was with a patient with dementia, which is very difficult patients, but the last people you should ever lose your patience with, And the other thing was like, there's the easy way and there's the hard way, right? And typically the easy way is usually the wrong way and the hard way is the right way. And to make things short, things were happening the easy way. And the person that did this stuff is actually here today, and I don't normally call people out, but it was me. I did these things. Like, in 17 years, I've never rolled my eyes at a patient, especially one with dementia. And I did that night, and I was with this girl, Brenna, and she called me out on it. And I was so thankful she did, because I never meant to do that. And I'm just glad I have coworkers that'll do that. Like, because sometimes when you slip, you need someone to tell you, hey, man, that was wrong. And she did. And the other thing was with Bun, and it wasn't like I was trying to take the easy way out, It's just I really didn't understand everything that was happening. And then I was like, well, fine, Bun, we'll do it your way. And I said, your way. And that's when I saw in her eyes, like, how disappointed she was in me. Like, it's not her way, it was the right way. And when I worded it like that, like, I don't know, it just really hit home. Like, I really wasn't trying to be bad. Like, I just didn't understand what was going on, but that was all on me, 100%. Like, I should have looked into this stuff more before I started rolling with it. But when you get out there, all you have is your coworkers. Like, you guys are going to have each other's backs. You got to be there to put each other in check when things like this happen. And there's no one else you're going to be able to rely on when you're there. So I hope wherever you go, you don't have to be best friends with them or honestly even like them, because sometimes you won't, and that's okay. But do your best to be a good coworker. And those types of conversations like I had with Brenna and Bum, they're not easy. I've been on both ends, but you need to do that stuff. That's how we keep everything in check and make sure we're doing the right stuff, So, sorry, that's just what I got sidetracked there. All right, so to conclude then, as you guys start your new jobs as x-ray techs, you all have opportunities to do amazing things. And I sincerely hope you take a little extra time and do what you'd want someone else to do for your loved one. This job can be so rewarding. And if you put in that little extra bit of time and effort, you'll find you can get back so much more than you put in. Thank you all for coming today. Congratulations, you guys. Honestly, I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait to see what you do. Seriously, find me on Facebook, whatever, and keep in touch with me. I want to know where y'all end up. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mike. All right, well, again, I'm Allie, the program director, and I have to thank these guys as they came through a huge transition this year. As you had saw Joe before, he was their program director for a year, and then I became program director, and it was a tough transition for me. And that kind of role is just a lot of things to do, but we got them done, and you guys were very supportive. There was days that I came in probably a little overwhelmed that you could tell, and I appreciate you guys working with us to get through that. I forgot at the beginning, there are some people that weren't here today. Evan Schultz, he is one of our adjunct instructors and took over helping teaching a class. And we also had Heather Dimmel. This class didn't have a lot of time with her, but she helped do some duties so we could do some of the administrative stuff at the college. So thank you for those two that aren't here today. And then also John Ursum, who is one of our instructors and also did clinical site visits. So thank you. So I just want to say a little bit. I've had the pleasure of working with this wonderful group of students for the last 2 years. Today marks a great achievement. You may have doubted at times during the program that you would ever make it to these seats, but there was never any question in my mind that you 13 would walk the stage today. You have all done so much, and I would like to shine a little light on all that you have accomplished. We started off with Clinical 1, and you had to memorize every bone, fissure, suture, condyle, process, articulation, every organ, vein, artery, antrum, sphincter, every position, projection, procedure, every centering point, distant, angle, all while hearing unfamiliar terms such as Bucky, IR, anode, cathode, KVP, mass, SID, SOD, OID. I know many of you were saying SOB. What did I get myself into? We got you as prepared as possible, and you showed up to your first day of actual clinicals, excited, scared, and anxious, only to find out that those 2 months was a bunch of bull because now you had to memorize every different hospital, doctor, and technologist's protocols while using different equipment. Not to mention that you had to do all of this with patients who were not as cooperative as your fellow classmates. You had to do procedures on crying babies, terrified toddlers, intoxicated teens, angry elderly, uncooperative, scared patients, all while having doctors, technologists, anxious mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, watching your every step and correcting every single detail. Wow, what an exhausting day. Then you went home and spent hours of studying patient care, imaging 1, imaging 2, physics, radiation protection modalities, the list goes on, but to be ready for weekly tests and quizzes. You made it, and now you are the new recruits that can change negativity into positivity. Don't ever forget that you have been given the skill set to work as an individual, but also as a team. Be a leader and focus on the good, not the bad. I sat down to write this yesterday, reflecting on your class, while my son Tommy did his best to distract me. But even with the chaos, a feeling of awe and rejuvenation came over to me as I considered my own path in the last 19 years of my experiences in this field. I started my career as many of you have. I wanted to help others and make a difference. One of my best friends was in a car accident in 2003, and while I held vigil by his hospital bed, I chose to change careers. I wanted to be like the trauma team and the nurses, the part of process of healing. When the diagnostic test returned a result of no brain activity, and the only thing the family could do was discuss organ donation, I knew I never again wanted to be watching from the outside. I know some of you may roll your eyes when I get on my soapbox, but I am passionate about the impact you make on others, the role you play in the community you serve. And I never want you to forget it. There are many times in this field that you will witness the sad, the bad, and the ugly, but there will also be joy, the wonderful and the beautiful. A boy whose broken arm you image gets his cast off so he can go play with his friends again. The last chest x-ray a patient has before they get to leave the hospital. The wonder and hope and beauty of a baby's heartbeat. Without diagnostic imaging, I would not have my son. Without professionals to help me through all kinds of obstacles, I would not know the joy of having a child. It was through the dedication of doctors and nurses and technologists that I came full circle from the awful night in 2003 and saw, rather than the end of life, the beginning of life. As you move forward, you will fill those roles. You will be psychologists, a comedian, we had a couple too good up here today, a social worker. You may even sometimes stand in the place of family members and caregivers, and sometimes even security guards. There will be good days and there will be bad ones, but you are prepared, you are trained, you are ready. Advocate for yourselves, advocate for your loved ones, and remember to communicate with your doctors, and do not be afraid to ask them questions or pull out a book. Once you overcome the fear, freedom follows. The part of the job that I love is going out to clinicals and seeing the graduates this program has produced and the good you guys all be doing. Whether it feels like it or not, you make a difference. And with determination, the sky is the limit. I leave you with a quote that my role model, my mother, has hanging on her front door. In a world that you can be anything, be kind. So now we are ready for the pinning, and Katie Church, who is our clinical coordinator, is going to come up. And I believe Katie has a little bit to share before we do the pinning. After Katie's done with the pinning, and our last, Christina, I believe, is the last one to be pinned, we would like all of you guys just to kind of, well, you don't have to stay in seats, but we're going to take a few pictures. So don't scoot out before the pinning, and then there's refreshments in the back too as well. So go ahead.
All right, I will not make this long. Hi, I'm Katie Church, like she said, clinical coordinator, and before I read everyone's names, I just wanted to take the time to make sure that these women up here know just how proud of them I am for all that they have overcome and accomplished in these past 2 years. This is not an easy program. I went through it myself. I won't tell you what year I graduated, but it was just a couple years ago. And I'm sure there were times where you felt like this day would never come. But you persevered, you did the work, and you made it to the end. As you stand on the threshold of your new careers, I want to give you one last piece of advice, and it's one that a lot of people have been touching on. Never forget that being a radiographer is not just about taking great x-rays. It's also about making a difference in the lives of those we serve. You won't be able to save the whole world, but you can make a difference wherever you are. I hope I have made a difference for you. As I call up each student and welcome them to the profession of radiography, I'm going to read a little thank you that they've prepared for you. Kaylin Elgrim Bender. Kaylin is being pinned by her mom, Christine, and her dad, Dwight, as she is not making today a day she picks favorites, and because Kilo the kitty was unavailable. Kaylin wants to express her appreciation to both her parents for raising her into the beautiful, smart, and capable woman she is today, and so modest. She wants to thank all of her friends and family who have supported her over the past 2 years and beyond. Your excitement and encouragement have been a huge motivation. All right. Jacqueline Corpus. Jacqueline is being pinned by her daughter, Isabella. Jacqueline would like to thank her family for putting up with her stress, her daughter Isabella for her understanding and encouragement of perfecting her work, and a big shout out to her bestie Karen, who cheered her to the finish line. Oh boy. Stephanie Holloway. Stephanie is being pinned by her bestie April. Stephanie would like to thank the girls in the program for making things more enjoyable and her friends and family for their support and encouragement. I get the last hug. You're welcome. Claire King. Claire is being pinned by her dad, Kevin. Claire wants to thank her parents and family for all their love and support all through life, especially during the radiography program. She also wants to thank her boyfriend, Montana, for putting up with her excessive attitude these past 2 years and still supporting her goal to finish the program. Also a thank you to her classmates for being such amazing and helpful people to be able to support each other no matter what. Lauren Leva. Lauren is being pinned by her mom, Sue. Lauren would like to thank her classmates for the laughs and memories they've made these past 2 years, her boyfriend Colton for his endless love, kindness, and support throughout this journey, her friends and family who have always pushed her to be her best and believed in her, and her professors and clinical instructors for their time and patience in preparing her for her career and making her the best tech she can be. Nicole Meskey. Nicole is being pinned by her dad, Len. Nicole would like to thank her fiance and her family, especially those who are here today, for all of the love, support, and encouragement throughout this program. She would also like to thank her fellow graduates. This experience would not have been the same without everyone in this class. It's truly been a blessing to have been on this journey with all of you these past 2 years. Liz Newen. Liz is being pinned by her dad, Eric, because he has played a major role in her college career. Liz would like to thank her enormous support system filled with family, friends, classmates, and professors. Thank you for all the love and laughter we've shared. You all have a special place in her heart. Talia Perez. Talia is being pinned by her little sister, Brianna. Talia would like to thank her little sister for always being her biggest supporter. Because of Brianna, Talia always tried her best to be the best role model as her big sister. Because of Brianna, Talia never has or will give up on things she wants in life because she wants to show her sister to stay strong and dedicated for what she wants. Talia loves her sister forever and always. Congratulations, Talia. Sarah Rogala. Sarah is being pinned by her mom, Barbara. Sarah would like to thank her family for supporting her decision to make the change and start X-ray school, as well as for supporting her throughout the program. She would also like to thank Hunter for encouraging her and lifting her up on the days that weren't so easy. Lastly, she would like to thank all the BTC staff and technologists that have taught her and all the skills and knowledge she needed to make it through the program. Courtney Seichter. Courtney is being pinned by her grandpa, Patrick. Patrick and her mom, Doretha, are both nurses and have been her inspiration through her decision to pursue a career in healthcare. She is grateful for having these role models to show her what a difference one person can make in someone's life. Courtney would like to thank her husband, Noah, for his never-ending support through whatever life brings, and her friends and family, old and new, for the constant love and support she has received over these past 2 years. Valerie Stewart. Valerie Stewart is being pinned by her son, Owen. Valerie would like to thank her friends and family for their continued support during her time in the program, including but not limited to listening to her use of fancy terminology and playing along like they were on the same page the entire time. A special thank you to her sons, Owen and Wade, for being so sweet and understanding during the chaos that was working in school for the past 2 years. Good job. Lynn Trin. Lynn is being pinned by her sister Hong. Lynn would like to thank her family for supporting her throughout this journey. She would like to thank her dad for being her inspiration, her mom for her patient and home-cooked meals, and her boyfriend Marcus for his words of encouragement and support whenever she needed you. Lastly, Lynn would like to thank Hong, Long, Jory, Jen, Tiffany, and Mercy Health for their endless support today, tomorrow, and forever. Christina Van Aken. Christina is being pinned by her other half, Mike. Christina would like to thank Mike for all of his dedication and love throughout the years so she could achieve this goal. She is beyond grateful to her mom for the unwavering support and guidance. Christina would especially like to thank her children, Christian, Alex, and Amelia, for being understanding and flexible to her hectic schedule. Your sacrifices have not gone unnoticed. Lastly, thanks to her classmates, teachers, and techs who have inspired her during this journey. And that is congratulations to the class of 2024.